Welcome to Outlanders and New Meta episode 64. The patch is finally here. Been waiting for all too long. Marco and Adam are also here. Marco, welcome to Dota 3. How are you feeling?
Hey, I am feeling slightly overwhelmed by the magnitude of all these changes, but very excited to jump into it.
Yep. Adam, likewise. Welcome to Outlanders. Is your brain exploded yet?
I'm just excited. I just want to play Dota. Maybe we can get Marco to start playing Dota again.
Yeah, perhaps. I don't know. We'll have to buy him some internet first, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know how that's looking, but... Yeah.
Feels bad.
I mean, this is an emergency pod, kind of. So extra to our normal schedule, which will be continuing as normal. So I hope we'll be back on Thursday, I think. Or Friday, I suppose, when it's released.
We were on call. We knew this was coming.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. We were on call. We rallied the troops. We were like, if this comes out Sunday, like we said in the last episode, if it comes out Sunday, we'll be there. But Tuesday, it was interesting that they actually communicated the day, but that was fun.
So build up the hype.
Build up the hype, yeah. And then it dropped everything, all of this weird wonderfulness. And nowhere better to start than sort of the top of the ticket, which is the two new heroes. Void Spirit and Snapfire. When you load into Dota, Void Spirit is the first hero that pops up. So let's start there. Marco, you're excited about this hero? You got a chance to demo him?
Yeah. So it was funny because when patches come out, particularly big patches, if you go on our WhatsApp group, there's always just like trickles of messages as someone goes from top to bottom, and everyone says the same crazy changes one by one.
Yeah.
What was funny about this patch log is that the first three words I think are all about Void Spirit. So it goes the Outlanders update, and then Void Spirit. Oh, I was on my phone as well, so it goes melee, carry, escape. So I saw those three descriptions, and I was like, "Get me into Void Spirit." This sounds like I couldn't ask for three better descriptions. So very excited to play more of Void Spirit. Did play him in the demo and the mobility. So I saw it say escape. Think it's got one spell that gets you mobile. It's got two, which is like double. It seems fun as anything. All these crazy not saves, but escape plays that are going to be possible. I have no idea how this hero is going to be built yet. I was thinking, I'd love to get some right clicker, like I said, but Void Spirit's actually int.
Yeah, int hero. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Yeah. But then I won't mind that. Position 1 int hero. The meta's been changing. Let's go. Everyone used to always raise an eyebrow if you were an int hero getting farm priority, but Void Spirit's here to change that.
Yeah, I agree. I've actually played 2 actual games as well as demoing, and obviously Void Spirit's been in both. We haven't had any party pooper people banning Snapfire and Void Spirit, which is good. But the hero it's kind of like a carry, like right-click carry, because the ult, particularly the Astral Step, as it's called, and for the purpose of this patch review, we're sort of hoping we'll describe somewhat what the spells do, but obviously you can't do everything. It's sort of like, how would you describe the Astral Step? It's like you point in the direction with a long range, the ult, yeah. It's like a long-range point target. You zip really quickly across, and anything you go through, you do an attack damage to that slows the target, and then about a second after you've gone through, does like a big burst of damage. So it's crazy mobility, pretty strong damage, 2 charges, yeah, and it's a movement slow, 8-second restore time at max level. So you kind of want to build right-click, because it's like a guaranteed damage with the ult, or to guarantee 2 damages with the ult. And if you line up through multiple heroes, that's obviously really strong. In the games, the Dissimulate ability, the W ability, where you basically go into the void or whatever, you slip out of the map, and then you can choose any sort of area around you to pop out again. Not precisely, but like within these big areas sort of thing. That's a really fun spell. It's kind of like Sleight of Fist. It's like
Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Magical hats with the Dark Magician.
Yeah.
You jump in. It's like, which one is he going to come out of?
Yeah.
And I was messing around with it, and you can click quickly and highlight like different circles.
Yes.
You're like deke, like, oh, I'm going to come out of this circle, and then you pop out of another circle.
Did the enemy see what circle you highlight?
No, they don't know. Okay. They see the circles, they don't see what you're highlighting. But you can change, like Adam says. Like you can click multiple ones. You can at the last second you can change between them.
One of the strongest.
That's a really fun one because you can dodge spells.
Dodge spells, dodge projectiles. You can also go up and down cliffs. That level of mobility is really, really good. Same with
and deal damage when you come out.
Yes, deal damage when you come out, exactly.
All of his spells deal damage, so...
we like that.
Yeah, the Resonant Pulse is an interesting one, the E.
I like the sound of it.
So sort of, it's a pulse around the hero, and the more heroes it touches, it absorbs more, it gives more physical resist. Yeah. So it kind of tanks him up. It's a bit like...
It's like Pango W.
Yeah, exactly.
Bigger AoE.
Bigger AoE, yeah. It's quite high damage as well. 400 damage at level 4.
That's with talent.
Oh, is that with talent? Alright, yeah. I've maxed my hero out, so that, yeah. So, yeah, 150 at 15. Okay, so
the ult's 15-second charges as well. You have a -7 second on that.
Yeah. And needless to say, with the ult, you go up and down cliffs as well. You know, you can target anywhere. It's just a point target. The Q's interesting, a bit weird. It's like a vector targeting wall of replica, but it's very small. And if someone walks into it, they get disabled for quite a long time. 1.8 seconds at level 4 is reasonably respectable.
Sinister gaze.
Yeah, sort of like a sinister gaze on a vector target.
It gets hit by creep, which is a bit annoying.
True, yeah. But overall, the kit is quite fun to play with together. In the game I played, the enemy Void Spirit. I keep want to saying Void, but you can't say that because of Faceless Void. I don't know what we're going to have to keep saying.
VS is Vengeful.
Vengeful? Yeah.
He built like Blink Dagger for the extra mobility and was just like flying around the map being like really annoying. And it worked. It's kind of, I guess, part of me wants to say, like I said earlier, hard carry, build right click, but then the mobility spell casting makes me think like mid hero.
Yeah, so none of his spells synergize with right click, and him being an int hero, he isn't meant to be right. He's not meant to be a right click because you get attack speed from the agi. But then also with the spells, they are low cooldown. So I'm feeling like Kaya, for someone like who wants to be spamming spells, wants the magic damage, wants the lower mana cost, etc. Items like Kaya, whatever that builds into, could be interesting. Orchid would be very nice. Kaya Yasha, yeah. I do feel like this guy's going to be spamming spells, zipping around a fight, being very elusive, does his damage. A little bit of control with that gaze spell. Exciting hero, for sure.
I think it's quite cool they came up with a fourth spirit that has mobility spells that aren't just a ripoff of the other three spirits. Like, it's very unique mobility. All three of them. Or all four of them have now.
Yeah.
It's a pseudo portal gun.
I think maybe like Radiance on this hero as well. He's so hard to catch. He's flying out.
Yeah, that's a cool
that ult is very anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hit everyone through a line and then you like look back and then they explode. It's definitely what the Nani did.
Yeah, so the Void Spirit's a fun hero. I think Snapfire then the other one. This hero's sort of bizarre. I think Void Spirit, this is my personal opinion, obviously I've only seen 2 games.
That's 2 more than us.
Yeah, it is 2 more than you, so maybe my opinion's worth something, but it doesn't seem good, sort of thing. It needs to be built in a way that I'm not foreseeing. And I know that I just jumped into a watch tab game where Zai was playing Snapfire and he's position 1 and he's built like Mjolnir because of the E. The E just like procs Mjolnir, and at 20 you get the Lil Shredder, and I was like, that is an interesting take, playing the hard carry, but it's sort of, even that is like a gimmick because you're waiting for level 20 for Lil Shredder to not just do 75 fixed damage per shot. So I played it as a mid, and the best spell, the Scatterblast spell, is really good. It's crazy high damage on a 10-second cooldown if you can get in point blank range. I went Blink, so I was just like Blink, Scattergun, huge damage. The W is fun in combination. So I was like using it on my Pudge, who was chasing heroes, to then do the weird 4-staff stun.
Yeah, so it's like a
whatever.
mini Kunker boot. No, Tuskar boot, where you kick someone into the air, they jump.
Yeah, it's 450,
range.
so it's pretty small. It's pretty small.
It is pretty small.
300 radius on impact is.
So that it's like Techies as well.
I just mean the jump is
and
small.
Yeah,
it doesn't get buffed with Aetherlands either. I tested it, so it's not like you can use it because you can self cast it, right? Give yourself a cookie, and that seems like it's more usable to jump down a hill or jump up a hill, but to line it up with your teammate seems pretty tough for only 450 range.
Yeah, and then the E is such a situational spell. In the second game I played, we were against a Kotl. So Snapfire would just press E and then instantly destroy Will-O-Wisp. That was cool. But other than that, it's just like a totally worthless spell, I think. It's really underwhelming. It does 30 damage per shot. It's kind of nice in the lane when I was mid.
I mean, it does 6 little shots.
Yeah.
So level 1, that's 180 if you target on one person. And that spell gives you extra.
Seems like a laning spell.
Yeah, it's good little harass, pew pew pew, low mana cost.
Yeah.
But then it's funny because even in client, it goes Snapfire, ranged, support, and there's no spell that shouts support or utility. The kick with the cookie to kick someone and stun someone, or maybe even a save because you kick them away a little bit, is like semi-utility at best. Little Shredder, where you spam these shots, you attack speed slow, but that's really not much. That's not disable, attack speed slow. And then your ult and Q are just burr damage spells. So I really don't get why they say this is as a support. It does feel like it's just this damage dealing.
This is an epic team fight ultimate, though. I mean,
yeah, it's an epic like gimmick team fight ultimate. I mean,
it's like 3,000 range. Like it's sniper,
it's crazy.
Assassinate, but you get a million shots that slow and then burn. Like that seems absurd in a game.
It's World of Tanks artillery. Literally,
it actually is World of Tanks. That's their marketing.
It's quite fun because you can. So for example, I was mid, and when I got 6, I'd say go for a power rune on one of the sides. First of all, I had to find out where on earth the power runes were because there's a new map that we'll get onto. But then when I'm basically at the power runes, I can kind of get involved in a skirmish in one of the side lanes from the power rune, basically, with this artillery ult, and it's so weird. It's fun as well because you right click to move where the next kiss, I suppose, Mortimer Kiss is the name of the spell. You right click on the map to where the next one's going to go, and they get fired artillery style. It is good damage and it's good burn damage, and it's fun because you can kind of scatter a whole battleground area. You know, you can cover a lot of ground with them, and you can chase heroes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's fun to use, but it's a weird one. It's fun. But
what's its range? Did you say 3,000 max range? It doesn't say on the client what its max range is. It's definitely more than your screen.
It's 2 screens away.
Yeah, so that aspect does seem super strong. And level 1 is 175 damage per glob, and you get 8 of these globs, which are basically the cannonballs. If you're hitting a few of those at level 6, I feel like you could just get a rampage if you if you get all your damage off.
Just mix that with a black hole.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's such a cool combo.
It's got good synergy. The Snapfire in general, to me, seems like a really situational hero. Like, for me, when I think, in a year's time, my prediction of or maybe just less than that, 3 months' time, when the novelty factor wears off, when will Snapfire be picked? It will be picked in really specific situations where it might be good.
Yeah.
Like with a Chrono, say.
Yeah, I was going to say Chrono.
Or with a hero where the W works well, like a distant gap closer sort of situation, because in those situations it is nice.
Yeah.
I know you can say, for example, I was thinking with a Legion commander pre-blink, but level 6 in the side lane, say you're running a Snapfire for Legion 3, this is just like my theory craft, you can get jewels easily because you just hide in trees with Legion, use W, Snapfire's W, the cookie, on the Legion, does the techies blast off in, does a stun, then you just use all your spells and duel. Like, that's a really nice setup.
Then you little shredder and attack speed slows them, so they can't win the duel.
Yeah, see? Big brain plays. And then you, obviously in duel, that means you're going to get a point blank scatter blast, which is crazy damage. And to me, scatter blast is the spell I'm maxing. After I played Snapfire mid, I was like, okay, this is the best spell.
It slows, but does it push at all? I don't think it pushes, right?
No,
the little shredder, no.
No, the
Scatter
blast.
No, it doesn't.
But it seems like ultimate wave clear.
Yes, it's really, really good wave clear. At level 4, you just blast a wave like instant, pretty much.
When you kept saying all this crazy damage, I wasn't understanding. I wasn't seeing it on the tooltip, because at level 4 it says 290, but then there's a line that says an extra 50% if you get point blank range. So yeah, a level 4
435.
435 damage. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really good damage.
Another way I'm seeing the ultimate glob attack or whatever, it's just like a pseudo invoker where you just need 2 spells that lock a hero in place. And then, like you say, a Chrono can do that. It's like a Skywrath where you just need some lockdown, and then you pew this ult on from semi-global cast range, and you'll do major damage. So for that way, you could play her as a 4 where you only need level 6, and then your potential is crazy good. Or you play her as this mid damage dealing, semi-global presence hero. That scatter fire, like you say, crazy damage, just start wreaking havoc with stun and damage in team fights.
It's a sick zoning spell. Like, imagine fighting around Roche, the kind of standoffs you get, where one team's on one side, their side, on the high ground, the other team's on the other. You can effectively just spam the whatever globs.
Mortimer's kisses.
Yeah. First of all, you can spam them into the Roche pit from way safe, from your own shrine. That's really insanely strong when you're contesting Roche, like insanely strong. Secondly, because they literally cannot stay in Roche pit. It's like Echo Stomp, you know. You can't. What are you going to do? Just get 5-man Echo Stomp or something in Roche. And also, if your team's taking Roche and you're wondering where their Blink initiation is going to come, you can just cover all of the enemy hiding spots in globs, and you're going to pick up heroes. You know, if you just cover the enemy sort of high ground area around Roche, that seems strong. Again, zoning what you're not taking high ground against a Snapfire with ult, because they'll just destroy the creep wave and probably has range to destroy the next one as well. And likewise, if you're going high ground, you can just scatter. It's like freaking World War One. Before you go over the top of the trenches, you do a massive artillery fire. That's just like Warfare 101. And this hero fits that as well. So it's got crazy zoning potential. But again, I say potential because in practice it felt really hard to do anything in the games that I've played.
Oh, just anything in the game.
Just anything in the game. The ult you sometimes get off, but just
she's
the general
a strength hero, which is I was not expecting, the new support hero to be strength. So it's like she seems like, you could farm pretty good with the spells, but she doesn't have much of a mana pool. Seems like an arcane boot hero.
Yeah.
I'm in the demo and hugging the Radiant Tower, and with Mortimer's kisses, you can hit the other tower. So it's pretty crazy. And also, those towers are much further back than the ones in the actual map. So it's absurd range.
Yeah, I do think with just 1 or 2 lockdowns is going to be mega strong, because it's near impossible to calibrate for the fact that someone 3,000, 2 screens away distance could just snipe you with two guns. Over
all the trees, like don't even need to be seen on the map.
Yeah. And it's you could say, it's like Sunstrike. Be aware of that, but Sunstrike in the first 20 minutes is dealing up to 400 damage. Say this ultimate, when it hits you repetitively, is like 1,000 plus. So it is seriously potent.
Yeah.
If there's the combo.
Funny hero.
It'll be interesting to see how it is built and played.
Seems like a greedy 4, I think.
Super greedy. 4. Because disable is so grim. Like, one common point about how to play pubs well or be effective is pick heroes that have stun or lockdown, and you'll just do more work. So, yeah, she's greedy in that, because she's just a damage dealing 4, like Skywrath in my eyes.
Mm.
And you could try and play her like Skywrath.
Yeah.
Moving on then. The first, well, actually, let's not go off the actual patch screen because we'll be here forever, but just off the notes I've taken, general changes. First one that's somewhat easy to discuss is level 30. Heroes going up to level 30, and at level 30 you get all talent trees unlocked, so you get the whole shebang.
Big spike.
Yeah, first thought is, so you get extra attributes, presumably, every level up until 30 now, so heroes will be a bit stronger, they'll have a bit more stats. In my first thought is, wow, that's a nerf to heroes that have some really bad talents, and a buff to heroes that have 2 really strong talents that are hard to choose from. But then the second time it's like, yeah, but it's level 30 and that's like not going to happen hardly ever. It's a cool change though, I think. It's just...
What levels did you get up to in your games?
So let's have a look here. I played a 47-minute game here. And it's glitched. The scoreboard is glitched because it says that everyone's 25 maxed out, but I know for a fact that they were higher than that. So the scoreboard hasn't been able to calibrate yet. Yeah, the scoreboard still maxes out at 25 when you scroll along to the levels.
When you go in the demo and click level enemy hero up to max, I'm pretty sure it only did it to 25.
26. It puts them at 26.
Oh, is it 26? Fucking
Yeah.
broken game.
I know in this game, though, that we were getting very close. Like, the enemy Void Spirit was probably, I think it was like 28, 29. Those last few levels are really hard to get. Because obviously it's exponentially more XP. So I think when you get to 27, it's like...
Can't wait for my couriers to keep taking tomes.
Yeah.
At like 50 minutes.
For sure. Pinging their level 25 talent. I need both of these, come on. Yeah. But that's just like a little mini one. And then a more interesting change, I suppose, is all these changes to couriers.
Yep.
Now, first of all, I want to say I actually did have a feeling that everyone was going to get their own courier because IceFrog's been going down this direction of making the common complaints like, oh, people don't buy courier and wards at low MMRs, blah, blah, blah. Like, well, now wards are free and everyone has their own courier. It just seems like the direction they were going in when they made courier 50 gold, and then whatever these other changes.
Yeah, it's kind of a quality of life / it almost increases the cap of the game potential because now you're not constrained by every hero's limited by there's only one courier to deliver items, and it's like the pace of the game and potential of the game feels a bit capped. But now it's like, okay, we'll make everything a bit easier, like
less conflict,
less conflict. Just try and making those barriers to the, I don't know what you'd even describe, the soul and essence of the game unleashed even more, because now people are just going to be even freer to excel.
Having courier just from day one in the side lanes is a big change. I played in the Razor game. I played 2 games, Snapfire and Razor. The Razor game of position 1, and I found myself with loads of gold, and I was like, wait a second, why am I not just shipping my Circlet and Wraithband recipe? Because in a normal game, I wouldn't do that, because there's mid, and it's just not that important. But in this game, it's almost like turbo. You may as well just ship anything out. You get any item, you may as well ship it out. Another thing is GPM, passive GPM, which is not usually 91, is now 85, and it's connected to your courier. So if your personal courier dies, you don't get passive GPM, which means sniping couriers, I guess, is really good. In my first game, we were against a Nature's Prophet that basically just spent all game putting lane wards, deep lane wards, and teleporting in to snipe couriers.
It's my type of player.
Yeah, very, very, very frustrating to play against. And I guess effective for them. It's so hard to tell in these early stages what's good and what's bad.
The couriers are super slow now as well, 275 at level 1. And then
yes.
I think the movement speed goes up each level, but only very incrementally. Yeah, 10 movement speed every level. So in the early game, levels 1 to 8, the courier's waddling along.
Yes.
I feel like the POS 4 is now going to have a new number 1 priority of sniping 5 couriers and then GG.
Yeah. Also, speed boost is back. Shield is still there.
Nice.
Well, these are all level, like,
Yes,
they're
level
abilities that
dependent.
get learned.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't start with these, yeah. And you can use items from the courier now. So is this a buff to Alchemist? Because you get 6-slotted hero and 6-slotted courier. And you just fly courier around with you, use boost, and then use Hex and Atos from courier.
It's only level 25.
It is only level 25, but it seems a bit weird and potentially too good. I'm
down for the change. It seems fun. Like, it's 25, so it's like late game, so it's kind of like it's sort of gimmicks are more acceptable when they're level 20, when they only come in at 25. And can you imagine how sick it is? Like a courier doing 4-star saves and using Hex. Imagine the micro required. It's pretty cool.
So the potential of gameplay is now crazy higher, given you've got a courier that can now use multiple items. So that's going to be cool to see.
Also weird to... What's the play late game when you're 25? If you're a squishy support, do you have your items on courier? You use your spells die, and then you keep 4-staff and glimmer on your courier because it's got shield and speed boost. It's like more survivable than your Keeper of the Light. I don't know. I mean, it's just a thought. Maybe you have precious items. You know, I don't know. Maybe in the late game you do that.
It seems like it. Well, yeah, obviously could be really, really strong, but even just say you're the position 1 and 2 that you get your 5-6 item slots, and then typically you're always like, oh, my progression now kind of slows down a bit because I can get Scepter upgrade, I guess, and a Moon Shard, but you don't really excel relative to the rest of the heroes. But now with this extra 6 slots available, you've got your 5 items, maybe 6 items. Now let's get, like, say, 4 staffs and glimmers and extra utility and saves and whatnot. And I feel like now late game cores are going to accelerate even more in the game, and so like become even more powerful and important relative to the 3, 4, 5 who will have less XP and gold. So it's a bit weird. I'm not crazy about it, but it's going to be interesting.
Adam, do you have thoughts on these courier changes?
I mean, you can do high skill cap stuff, I reckon.
Yeah.
But without having tried it in game, I don't know. It seems like you want to kill couriers. That seems kind of cool. Limiting people's GPM, a lot more experience and gold to go around. Speed boost is welcome. I missed that.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of micro potential. I mean, that's a whole nother thing you gotta... as someone who does not have the courier on a hotkey...
Okay, that has to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the biggest benefits from courier I see from a core player perspective is having dust on the courier and just being able to rely more on yourself.
Yeah. That is interesting.
And then wards at level 15. Wards at level 15 is a pog. Smoke your courier, have it run in deep and ward.
Oh, wow, yeah, that's interesting.
That's cool. Yeah.
I get that helps support life a lot more. You're not having to waste time traveling to certain parts of the map to get stuff done.
Can you put items on other people's couriers for yourself? If you can, then you've got 5 of them. You may as well just use a courier for just constant scouting, like an observer in StarCraft. Do you know what I mean?
You could do drop
you've got
items.
You've got 5 of them.
Someone else's courier picked it up.
But then at the same time, you don't want to just feed gold away, I suppose. Anyway, let's not dwell too much on these courier changes. They're weird and they're interesting, and we'll see basically how they're used, because it's one of those that will take time to adjust to. Because it might be one of those you rarely see, you know. You only really see it in late game. I don't know.
It's so weird to think that, because the courier used to always be a chicken, and going back all the way in time, like the courier was the chicken that's just waddling to give you your items, probs like 200 movement speed, use this little, almost an NPC. And now like it's evolved over these years and years, and now it's at the point when it's like getting to use items, and it's got even more spells now, and it's got even more importance, and it's like 21st century Dota, where the courier is equality and all that. I'm the captain now.
observer words don't cost any gold. Hooray for support. You start with 3 TP scrolls.
Town portal scrolls? What? Since when were they called town portal scrolls?
Always?
Always?
What?
I mean, I've always known them as town portal scrolls.
Town? What?
What are you...
What?
Teleport scroll?
Town
What?
portal scroll, let's go.
What? I am actually losing my mind. Town... I'm
How long
getting
have you
That's
played
what it's
Dota?
always been, sir. Town portal scroll.
What? Alright, let me go and change log. Let's see what's going on. That is actually blowing my mind.
Quite
Holy
standard
moly.
changes.
That's the biggest change for Marco, that thing that's always been the same.
Is it just because
Yeah.
it's got...
That's the biggest reaction we get out of the patch, is finding out that TP scrolls are called town portal scrolls.
No. Because it's its ability, or it's active, that's teleport. Its ability is called teleport. What? I thought it was a teleport scroll all my life. I am not even shitting. This is like...
Dota 3, town portal scrolls for Marco.
What?
Biggest change of the patch, confirmed.
That is insane. Alright, anyway.
But yeah, these, I mean, do you have any comments on these changes? Quite standard. Obs Wars not costing any gold is nice.
Yeah,
you
that's
will
very nice.
probably... Does that mean, though, that cores will just buy them now? Because I want to buy them.
Of course,
I wanna
you'll always
post
be
them.
buying them. But yeah, I guess...
I just want to
Yeah.
buy them now. There's no downside.
Yeah.
You're going to be fighting over who places them.
Right,
All
it's going
places.
to be like, you're going to get, as a support, you're going to get flamed for not picking them up. Because there's literally no
No
reason not to
excuse.
have them now.
Yeah,
Well, just
no.
get them in the courier. Just I'm
Yeah.
as soon as they replenish, I'm buying one as the mid laner and just getting it in my courier for me, so I can place it in my defend my farming areas or whatever. So that's a new one bit of conflict's taken away, and a new bit is given by Ice Frog here with 3 TP scrolls.
Also, on the economy section, the net worth ranking factor for gold change, is that referring to the bounty you get when you kill someone, dependent on what the net worth ranking is? Is that correct understanding?
Net worth ranking factor for gold chain. I'm not sure.
So it says 1.3 to 0.7 to 1.6 to 0.4. The way I read that is when you kill the highest net worth hero, the like multiplication factor to your gold bounty is now 1.6 rather than 1.4, and it's a smaller factor for killing the lowest ranking net worth enemy hero. I don't know if that's correct, but if that's correct, then that means killing the enemy support is less rewarding, and killing the enemy's highest net worth is even more rewarding. And so that helps comeback mechanics, and it helps not get shit on more when you're behind.
Yeah, this is one of those things that's harder to understand, but it might be the biggest thing in the patch.
Yeah.
I'm kind of I kind of hope it's not that, because I already feel like you kill a big kill streak, you get so much gold, it's kind of insane. You can get like 1.5K gold for killing someone that's on like a monster kill streak or something, and it just makes it really hard to play. If you're on a monster kill streak, you got to play really defensively and stuff. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Not sure, but anyway, perhaps not worth dwelling on, because we're
Yeah.
not even sure if that's what the change is. So, new map. The river is massive. The side shop is gone. There's an outpost. There's all sorts of stuff going on. I will start the discussion talking about outposts, because they're sort of like that's a new feature. I'm going to go on a limb and say, after playing 2 games, I hate the outposts. I don't understand what they're for. No one wants to do them, like in both of our games. No one wants to like go and use them.
I
They're
think
so out of the way. You
I
can
think
TP
the
to
high
them, which is
level
nice.
teams are gonna make sure they've got them.
So
So we
what
need
is
to
it they-
explain
Yeah,
the benefit they give, right?
Do you want to explain it? I don't know if you...
Where are the numbers? Where is this?
I can explain it if you want. I've got it here.
Oh wait, yeah. So
Go on.
if you control the outpost from minute 10 onwards, is it every 5 minutes you get a bonus XP to your whole team? Is that correct? Yeah. So when you get control of it, you get an XP bonus, and then every 5 minutes, if you have control of it, your whole team will get an XP bonus. So it's like the bounty runes,
You
collect
can TP
bounties.
to it.
Yeah. So like the bounty runes, everyone gets gold. With these outposts, every 5 minutes, if you control the outpost, all your team gets XP. XP and gold are massive. Like when you think of the bounties and initially they come in, oh, everyone gets 50 gold, and you think it's not too important, but then the whole game's meta now revolves heavily around bounty rune spawning. I do feel like the high pro teams will be like, nah, these outposts are actually unnoticeably important in terms of the benefit they give. And then, like you say, the TP potential is massive. The XP is 25 times minute. So at minute 10, it's 250 to everyone on the team. And so that's 1.25k. And if you think about the XP gold graph, like if the team's getting a 1.5k XP bonus, it's kind of a little big spike.
Yeah,
now, does it
nice.
but then the other person can take it, right? The other team can.
Yeah.
So is it every change of possession? Does the bonus happen? Because then you can just farm. XP.
Are there going to be these agreements where both teams are like, let's just keep swapping outpost control so we both spam our XP up?
That can't be right. I think initially taking it must mean the first time.
And then every 5 minutes after that?
So it's like a reverse bounty rune in the sense that you need to be on the bounty rune at 5 minutes, but you need to have captured the outpost before 5 minutes.
We're going to get these 15-minute like dual bounty / outpost fights.
Well, also there's a bounty rune on the outpost. I don't know if you guys know. There's a bounty rune literally next to it. So at 5 minutes, there's no longer is there 2 bounty runes sort of on each side of the map, on each side of the river. Now the bounty runes are in the river, just one at each side like it used to be. And now the other ones are next to the outpost.
Oh, okay, that makes the outpost even bigger then, that you're also vying for the bounty rune.
Yeah, because you have to go to the outpost at 5 minutes if you want the bounty.
Yeah.
It's weird watching your hero. It goes to 5 minutes and then you're in the lane and your hero is just like channeling a spell for 6 seconds looking at an outpost. It's kind of weird. It's like, it feels like a mini game to me, even more than bounty runes are a mini game, because
you have to be stood next to it to do
you have to be stood next to it and you spend 6 seconds like just channeling, standing there doing nothing. And so it's kind of like, I don't want to do this.
It's faster if you have a teammate with you.
Yeah, it is faster if you have a teammate.
Classic.
It's sort of, I don't like it. It just felt like stupid. Like no one wanted to do it, and it might be strong, and it may well be, but it's the kind of thing that if it is really strong, it's the kind of thing that teams will be doing. And when I say teams, I mean pros and pubs alike. They'll be doing it because they have to, not because it's like a fun thing to do.
Yeah, the TP potential's big.
The TP
potential, like if you don't have a tower anymore, it's like
also,
having a tower.
Also, you can TP to defend, which happened a couple of times. Like you see a hero go to try and take the outpost solo, you just TP in and fight them off. They're bizarre things, though. Be interested to see.
Yeah, I feel they're going to be quietly influential, and I think the point of being able to TP when your tier 1, tier 2s are gone, but still having that outlet for say split pushing will be really big.
And then shrines are still around, right?
They've been removed a tiny bit.
They're in a different place, but yeah.
But it's like you can probably do a pincer then. Some people go to the shrine, some people go to the outpost, or no? I haven't seen the map in depth.
You can't. I don't know how much pincer potential there is. I feel like if your side lanes are ever getting pushed in, they're just going to take the outpost on their way through. So you're not going to be able to like TP behind them.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
sorry, that when you say when you push through, you'll take the outpost with you. There are going to be a lot of games where you're like pushing a tower or something down the lane and don't take the outpost because you forget, and then you get this pincer sandwiched team wipe. Like when you don't take the shrine when you're going for a tier 3 high ground push, you're like, what the fuck are we doing? Forgetting to do this.
It's what was I going to say? I wonder if there's a bit too much going on at 5 minutes now.
Yeah. Outpost only come alive at 10, right?
Oh, is that right? I thought they came alive at 5.
No,
inactive
10.
for the first 10.
Okay, so that's not the worst, but like it means that for 10, 15, 20 minutes, there are fights around the bounties. I feel like a lot of bounties are just going to go for free because there's 4 different places to be on the map at the same time, whereas back before there was only really two because both the bounties are kind of very close to each other, sort of thing. I don't know. Maybe there will be fights around the outpost. They're so isolated on the map; it's quite costly to even go there, though.
I think
where the side shop are.
My final comment on it is I like the fact it will make teams and heroes and players that bit more fluid and mobile, because now there is just another outlet to be TPing to, and therefore more rotation potential or gank potential. If you play at a faster pace, you've now got even more potential to untap because you've got even more mobility. So those aspects will be interesting and strong if you use them well.
Other map changes are just general ones. These are quite hard to explain without actually getting into
there are a lot
the
of
map itself.
Random ramp changes or camps bit open or trees change and whatnot. So it's hard to tell where the most important ones are there. I do think the Rosh change is pretty decent and fairly big. I know it's still in the same place, but now there's much more area, because like you say about the river being bigger, there's much more area surrounding the Rosh pit itself. So I feel like it's going to make the Rosh pit even more exciting because it's just an even bigger battlefield. And the way it looks now feels more balanced in terms of Radiant Dire. It seems a bit more symmetrical in terms of there's now a ramp going down to the pit equivalently on both sides. So yeah, I feel like I quite like that change, making it a bit more symmetrical for the Rosh.
Adam, I don't know how chance you've had to see the map, but there's a lot of these eye warding spots to be sort of baited into placing. There's a crazy one in the Radiant jungle. I don't know if you've seen that.
That's what I loaded into that bot game real fast. That was the first thing I noticed, was that looks like the most bait ward spot I've ever seen in my life. Nothing will ever last up there. There's no way. But it does look interesting. Jungle, I mean, it seems really open just from my first glance at it. And they also moved the Radiant Ancient Camp to the other side of the map. So now that Ancient Camps are both on the right side of the map, which seems good. I like that.
Yes,
if I read that correctly, because it's more even.
Yes,
it's like equidistant away from Roche, which is nice.
Yes, it was. Radiant was OP for certain mid heroes because of where the Ancients was. Obviously, Kunkka, and you could TA was another one. You could easily stack with traps, and it was way closer to farm. It was just better for ancient farming heroes. Just were a lot better on Radiant, and now they've been nerfed a bit. And it'll be interesting to see if Radiant's eternal dominance on the meta is shifted a bit by these changes, the Roche one and the Ancient one. Other than that, there are, as with everything, there are a ton of other changes around the map stuff. Tier 2 towers are a bit more strong. The side shop doesn't exist anymore.
Secret shop exclusivity.
Yes, Voidstone is no longer purchasable from every shop. So yeah, stuff like that. One thing that I would like to maybe discuss, because I thought when I read this, I thought this is a really interesting change. Spell immunity no longer grants 100% magic resistance, and basically what that means is spells that say pierce spell immunity, like Fiend's Grip. I immediately thought of Reaper's Scythe, but they actually have changed Reaper's Scythe to not pierce spell immunity anymore. But basically, stuff that goes through spell immunity now also deals damage as well. It doesn't just do the stun. So that's an interesting change, I suppose.
So yeah,
buff to BKB.
Yeah, there's a lot of changelog heroes that's just mixed to fit with this new change. There's or matched to what you were saying.
I think it's quite nice because BKB is top 3 item in the game, so it's nice. It's fine for it to get nerfed.
They even fixed it with bashes. Yeah, I was about to say Faceless Void bash deals damage through BKB now.
Oh yeah, because it's a magic damage bash somehow.
And
Basher, normal Basher does as well.
Basher,
MKB too goes through.
And then Abyssal Blade, all that stuff deals.
Well, I know there's a lot of item changes, but that Abyssal Blade active change is super cool.
Yeah, that is a cool one.
So what was it? Is it
It's a
600
blink
range
strike.
or 350
Yeah.
range?
600.
That's a decent little range to blink strike stun someone.
Let's jump.
Anyway,
then,
Can we do 2 more building things?
Yeah, go ahead. Anything at any point, if there's anything you think is interesting.
Glyph is 6 seconds instead of or up to 7. So 7 seconds is really big, I feel like.
Wait, what?
Like
Glyph is 7 seconds.
Yeah.
Duration, yeah.
Oh, it's only
And,
up 1. Oh, right. In my
It's only
mind,
up.
it was.
It's only up 1, but like that's a lot, especially since the glyph multi-shot went from 2 to 4. So
Yeah.
that's gonna hit 5
Glyph
things.
is so
Glyph is very
So-
strong now.
Yeah.
Hitting 5 things is big, and then if I'm reading this correctly, I think they buffed the fountain to make it not
Yes.
farmable.
Yeah.
So fountain has 20% flat accuracy, so it's able to like go through evasion a little bit. So you can't just like sit in the fountain forever.
Yes. I
So
mean,
that's
obviously,
it.
you're getting Snapfire altered from,
Right.
the river while you're in Fountain, but
And then
than that.
I guess the last thing is if you deny a tower, your team gets half the gold instead of denying it from the enemy. So that's big.
that's a fun one.
Yeah. Now when a techie's right click denies a tower, it'll be
Yeah.
like
A
big,
moment.
even bigger pog than it normally would be.
Yeah. So, sort of probably the biggest change,
Yeah.
the weirdest change.
Weird.
62 unique neutral items.
We kept that quiet. 62 new items.
Yeah, so
62.
to explain, I'm sure everyone is aware of this, but to explain it nonetheless, neutrals, not lane creeps, but neutrals have a chance to drop items, and the items range from level 1 or tier 1 to tier 5. A win for Marco, by the way, numbered tiers.
Oh,
A tier, S tier.
but tier 1 isn't as good as tier 5, so we need to reverse that.
Yeah, that's
Keep that
true.
in mind, folks.
Yeah, that's the next change. That's 7.23a.
Who would have thought that, maybe you would think they're going to buff the jungle. Who would have thought they'd buff the jungle after years of nerfing it by giving 62 unique droppable items in tiers?
So weird. It's such a weird change.
Got so many more things to learn now.
Yes, loads of stuff to learn. I mean, yeah, I'm interested to hear what are your guys' thoughts on this. We won't, obviously, you can name drop any of them, but just in general, what are your thoughts? I will say, actually, before I go over that, 10% chance that a neutral will drop a tier 1 item between 5 and 15 minutes, and then when it does, the chance of your team finding another one halves. So then it's a 5% chance, then a 2.5% chance, etc. And it's always a 10% chance. The tiers go up throughout the game.
That's
Every
interesting.
10 minutes. So 5,
Every 10 minutes,
15,
yeah.
25.
I didn't
So that's
realize it
basically-
got cut in half, so I was really worried and scared that, there'd be, in a 40-minute game, there'd be 13 of these items across the 2 teams that you'd have to keep track of.
Oh, there is. I mean, I played my Razor game. There's about 12 in the game by the end, 45 minutes. in.
Yikers. Do they? Okay, wait. Do they have gold costs associated with them?
You can't sell them. They're unsellable.
Okay. So the first thing when I was reading through it, I mean, one thing is that they buffed backpack. It's up to 4 slots instead of 3 to make room for all these items. I did think it was kind of cool that it was going to increase collaboration because it's I
In
got
theory,
this
yeah.
drop. I can't use it. It's for an int hero. I'll give it to my support type of thing. I did like that idea.
So can
behind
you
it.
drag and drop the item onto someone else, or you mean just let them pick it up?
You can give
You
it
can-
to them.
Yeah, you can drag and drop onto the floor or onto a hero.
Oh, it says the items can be shared with allies. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so I liked that idea of it.
Yeah.
But I am having not seen any gameplay of any of this stuff and having only read through the items, I'm very worried the implications of it for pro games.
Just too much RNG.
Yeah, I think,
Yes.
and I don't think all of them. A lot of them seem kind of fun. I don't think. I say this, maybe not the tier 1 stuff. Maybe it's not OP, but maybe it is really OP and you can snowball. I don't know. But it does seem like you could have a certain lineup or something, or a certain hero, and you just say you're an int hero and you just get a god tier int hero drop, and it's like, oh my god, now this hero has 500 extra cast range. Or I guess that is a 70-minute item, so that doesn't really make a difference. But I would hope you wouldn't be able to snowball off of like a 3% drop rate on some item.
Yes. So
go on, Marco. Yeah.
So a way to kind of think about this just off the bat: 25 is 35 is tier 3 items. So this is pretty key point of the game. So I'm just looking at the 25 to 35 items to see if any could be like particularly really good.
Oh,
these I mean, they're all really good. Just
on specific heroes, some of these items are insane. So in the Razor game I played, for example, Morphling got an item which gave him +8 all attributes, whatever. This is tier 4.
Okay.
Spell Prism. So it basically also gave him that causes the next single target non-ultimate spell or item to be also cast on a different nearby enemy, prioritizes heroes. So he gets a 2-man adaptive strike, like whenever he wants, basically. Kind of insane. Also, we were against the ridiculously elusive Void Spirit. He had a Spider Legs tier 3, which gave him 24% movement speed, plus 30% turn rate, so even faster and more mobile. And also on a 10-second cooldown, the active grants him 24 bonus movement speed and free pathing for 3 seconds. So you can walk over stuff, all sorts of crazy stuff like that. Another tier 4 that was dropped that the enemy axe picked up was plus 20 strength and grants spell immunity, so a 1.75 second PKB. These are some weird, sick items.
They're all they seem pushed a lot. Like they seem really good, really pushed
they are good.
Competing with item slots for real items. Like this Mindbreaker tier 3, 30 mana break, 15% magic resist, and mana you burn is given to you. Like, it seems very strong.
It's weird because invariably in this game, the enemies seem to get items that were really good on their cores, and our team got loads of items that were really good on our supports. So it was a kind of weird dynamic where they sort of got the luck of the draw, kind of. For example, the first item I got on my high physical damage Razor was, see if I can find it. It's probably gone actually, because the tier 1 items are trash, you just drop them. But I got this tier 2 item, which was plus 20% magic resistance, plus 8% spell damage, but minus 4 armor. So you lose 4 armor. So obviously I don't want that. So I give it to my Rubik. So it's kind of like, cool, my Rubik's got this spell. It's kind of weird when we have that and they have, say, some enchanted quiver that the Morph had. Clink's got this as well, to be fair. And it empowers your next ranged attack with plus 400 bonus range and 175 bonus magic. So it's just, they're weird and wacky and different, and
it's going to take a long time to keep, track of what, there's the pictures and then what they actually do, and if that's a big deal for your, if you mean to itemize against a guy that has plus 60% attack projectile speed and on a 12-second cooldown can hex you from that range for 1.5 seconds, that Prince's Knife.
It's really weird. I got a cool one, and the one I got was very cool. Telescope, tier 4. Passive Aura, lowers scan cooldown by 50%, whatever, a bit weird. Increases attack and cast range of all allies in a 1,200 radius. And everyone gets extra 125 attack range and 125 cast range. So talk about using spells and attack damage better. That's like a passive Dragon Lance for your whole team, and a passive Aether Lance for your whole team.
Yeah.
It's pretty insane. But at the same time, it's like, who do you give it to? Because you kind of have to give it to your support. They need to make sure they're in 1,200 range of you to give you the aura. So it's kind of like an awkward one. But I was playing Razor. I got Dragon Lance and this Telescope, and so we'll get onto Razor later, but if you static link someone, you automatically attack them. So I was static linking them, and my attack range was like as long, if not long, like as long probably as my static link.
Seems like it'd be longer than the static link. Yeah,
it was crazy.
Especially if you had Avenge on your team.
It's hilarious that you can get Aquila and Poor Man's Shield. They've been added back into the game.
I want to see a mango tree. I really want to see a mango tree or an ironwood tree.
Hell
Yeah, I want to see what this
Actually, I
special
wanna see a
ironwood
mango
tree
tree.
is.
Yeah, broom.
So, where does the mango spawn where you put the mango tree?
Yeah, it must do.
Provides unlimited mango power. Every 60 seconds, a mango will drop. Provides 800 vision around it. It's pretty tasty.
You think you
Maybe
can chop it
nighttime,
down?
That's good. Ooh, probably quell a mango tree.
Surely
Tree in
not.
the
That's
name.
too bad if you can quell it. You got to keep it in a
about
safe
this-
place, I guess.
Broom handle plus 35 melee attack range. You just
Yeah.
put that on Monkey King. This
Yes.
Oh.
it even matter?
12 damage, 3 armor. Like
12
that's
damage,
so
3 armor.
solid.
Yeah.
At
That's
5 minutes
huge.
in the game, that's strong.
Is it 5 minutes? Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
5 to
can-
15. Yeah, that's
5:15.
that's
Iron
big.
Talon as well is back. Let's go.
That's funny, yeah.
If
Some
you
of them
want
are
to,
strong.
if you miss the well, what's it called? Like for the lead up to the TI, like what the battle pass. If you miss the battle pass, you get this trusty shovel, and you just keep
Oh
digging,
yeah.
Yeah.
just keep finding bounty runes and TP scrolls.
Yeah.
There's going to be, because all this new stuff and all these neutral drops, I feel like there's going to be a lot of games where people just become PvE and just forget they're playing Dota, and they're just like
Yes.
shoveling around everywhere and like trying to get the neutral drops, so they're just ignoring everything else, and they're planting fucking vegetation plants, and it's going to be some
See,
some
like
questionable games.
Pirates
even
hat.
in these
tier 5.
these tier 1 items, there's a lot of RNG even within them. Of like, you could get the shovel, which seems like a meme, right?
Yeah.
Or you could get this arcane ring that gives you 8 int 3 armor and a 40-second cooldown to restore 75 mana to everyone. Or you could get the royal jelly, which gives you
Royal
permanent plus 2/5 HP regen and 1.25 mana regen.
Hmm.
Like just a permanent buff.
Or this faded brooch, the last one, 225 mana, 20 move speed. That's solid, like.
Yeah,
That's a lot of
20
mana.
move speed's good.
And 20 move speed, yeah, it's probably maybe even better. And obviously when you get down to tier 5, they only spawn at 70 minutes, I believe, is that correct?
70 plus, yeah.
Yeah,
Which
so
is
that's
wild.
like a long time.
That's
You
level
won't see
30
these very
heroes.
often. Yes. You won't see them often, but they are kind of crazy. Desolator 2.
Yeah.
It's
I
quite
love
funny.
best named item of the patch.
Yeah.
That's like-
For
They
sure.
gave up. They had 62 new items to name. They just got to the last one, like Desolator 2.
75% chance to block and reflect targeted spells. That is a fun one.
Whoa.
Mirror Shield.
Mirror Shield, yeah.
Plus 20 all stats. Just tack that on too, as if the shield
Yeah,
ability
as
is.
if it's not enough, yeah.
250 attack speed on Pirate Hat. Holy smoke.
And also, like, am I right in thinking the Pirate Hat, yeah, a bounty rune spawns between you and the target when you kill them. Like, what?
Yeah.
That is pretty silly. Anyway, I guess we won't...
You've got to read the news.
Yeah, you've got to read these. So have we. I mean, I
Well, the 2 tier 5s that we were giggling about were Book of the Dead plus 35 strength and int, and then when you activate it, you get 6 level 3 Necro Book units.
3 purges. 3 purges
No,
from the spellcasting, the archer, right?
6
Yeah,
purges.
6. Well, I don't know if you get 3 archers and 3
Ah.
and 3
Ooh.
melee or what, but you get 6 necro creeps. Normally, if you were to refresh, you wouldn't get it; would kill the original. So, I guess they changed.
Is that a win condition? Get Book of the Dead on Lycan and use Howl, and all the enemies have no attack damage, and you've got 6 necro creeps attacking.
No
for a
win
trillion.
condition is the fallen sky, because then you turn into a meteor, and you can hit the
Yes.
tower. I guess
Yeah, that's
the biggest meme, right? Blink
There's too
dagger
much
plus
weird stuff
meteor
going on.
hammer plus this recipe, and
Yeah.
then you can turn into a meteor and fall on a target.
15-second cooldown to blink stun someone.
And that cannot be disabled by damage incoming. So it's like you can't get stunned out of it. So
It's one of those where when the game gets to 70 minutes or gets to 50 minutes or something, soon when we know what a lot of these do, you're going to be really hoping that you pick up a certain one or something like that. And you're going to be really disappointed when you pick up Fallen Sky at 70 minutes. And also, you're going to just want to be farming camps. It's pretty. One thing that is interesting is it kind of is RNG, but at the same time, certainly for these later ones, the tier 5, tier 4 ones, by that point in the game, if you can control the maps and you can control the jungle, like it's very rewarding for that. Imagine a sort of base defense situation against techies. Some techie sniper in a pub, this game's going like 80 minutes. You're going to be able to farm like probably 3 of these items maybe from 70 to 80 minutes, I would imagine. If you're just like going through the jungle every minute. That's going to give you a decent little bonus.
So that's when you realize the enemy sniper got a ballista, so he has plus 400 attack range, and he's actually in the fountain, hitting you at the tier 3s.
Yeah. Who knows? Let's see. It's fun though. That I will say. It's fun. It's interesting.
It is fun. Force boots. Whenever that was in a custom game that Valve would make, everyone was like, "Good force boots." The fact that they're in the game is so cool, and it dispels. It dispels too. That is so pog.
Self dispel. Wow.
General item changes. I don't know if there's too much to go through here. A lot of adjustment stuff. Stout Shield's removed from the game.
Rip.
But now everyone's got the damage block.
Yes.
Not every melee.
And it's 200 gold for everyone.
Yeah. Well, it's 200 gold for the melee heroes.
Yeah.
That's tasty. And Quelling Blade's cheaper. Like, POS 1s are wet themselves.
Verify is more expensive, but it's better, kind of. 3 mangoes in one.
Mangoes are so funny. The change log in preparation for the upcoming mango season, they can now be stacked up to 3 times in one slot. That's strong because a lot of heroes love to stack mangoes, so now you can get 3 in one slot. Is very, very, very strong. And it's just funny. Yeah.
Ice Frog with the mango memes.
That's actually so strong. Think about the heroes that have mangoes in the backpacks. Now you can get 3
Think about Ogre that buys like 5 mangoes. Now he's going to have all these slots open.
And even someone like Mars, I want to have mangoes on the guy, but when you get to say 10, 15 minutes in, you don't have space. But now if you can spam 3 at once into one slot, really, really helpful for a lot of heroes.
Greaves nerf, our favorite, new meta's favorite item, bit nerfed. No base armor aura now, doesn't provide aura in an AoE. You still get the whatever it's called,
6 armor to the hero,
the threshold
thing. Yeah.
It's because it doesn't use buckler anymore. Buckler got moved around to other things.
Lots of stuff's got moved around. Drums changed, Vlad's changed, stuff like that. We mentioned earlier the Abyssal 600 cast range. So what is PA's for reference? Do we know roughly?
Probably 8 to 1k, I would think.
Yeah, I think it's something like that, isn't it? So it's decent. That's a decent little distance right there.
And it's even escape.
It's 1,000
offensive and defensive. You can blink to a creep maybe to try and jump away. But gap closing, fantastic.
Yeah, fun.
I feel like Bloodstone's pretty good. I don't know what the old one was, but this looks good. The Kaya and Soul Booster is now what you need, and the mana regen and Spell Amp. It now gives Spell Amp. Feels really nice.
I agree. I think it's better than the old one.
It still comes with 15 charges?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
So it's like base 1.5 Spell Amp or something?
Because
I'm doing that wrong. 4.5 Spell Amp.
For a Storm, the progression is so nice now. Kaya, get a Soul Booster, and now you've got a Bloodstone. The progression's so nice. The item slots you save because Kaya's been absorbed.
Definitely. Dust of Appearance, single charge that costs 90 rather than 2 for 180, sure.
Interesting.
Sentry wards last 2 minutes longer. That's an interesting change. I suppose. Sentries are just last longer.
OP.
Yeah. How do you feel about that as a support? Is it? Because I don't really know, but I imagine that's quite a big change. 2 minutes longer. You just buy.
They last a long time, but they changed the replenish. They're out of stock longer. So I think that doesn't make up. 10 seconds longer in the shop doesn't make up for 2 extra minutes that they last.
Yeah.
So I think and the initial stock got moved from 4 to 3. So I don't know what you buy as a support now, because you're not buying a courier.
Yes.
And you're not buying obs wards.
Yeah, don't cost anything.
So are you actually buying sentries and like stat items? Probably not. Probably still getting mangoes. Be interesting to see though.
Yeah.
The best item in Dota, the item that pros and high MMR players buy at a higher rate than any other versus general population, has got even better. Infused raindrops, now 6 charges instead of 5. As if you didn't need enough reason to buy infused raindrops, you've now got another.
But it doesn't build into anything.
Doesn't build into anything, but
yeah.
I mean, they don't. Most heroes, you don't buy it to build into something anyway, so yeah, whatever.
Rapier has True Strike.
Really? I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
That's fun. Are there any other item changes that people want to name check for the general items?
Smoke replenish 10 minutes to 7 minutes. That's pretty good. Helps the pace of the game.
Yeah.
It's just like
Battle Fury damage. That's the AM buff that Marco's looking for.
Which one?
Battle Fury, 10 more damage.
Oh, actually, yeah. And Quelling Blade's cheap. Well, I guess only 50. But yeah, the Battle Fury damages. 10 is quite a lot. It's like a 20% increase or something in damage.
I'm curious to see how the Sange, you get 24% self HP regen and lifesteal amp instead of damage, and I think that's really good. So I'm very curious how that works out on a strength hero that has a heart or something.
But what's the amp? Lifesteal amp?
Or self HP regen. So 30% extra regen.
Yeah, so Sange is now, rather than damage, it's this more tanky regen item.
Yeah, plus there's that neutral item that drops that gives you something like plus 28% max health, but minus 40% mana pool. I'm just trying to imagine a centaur with that item and then like a heart, and I mean, you don't need mana pool anyways, so just have like 7k HP or something ridiculous.
Yeah, there's definitely some ridiculous stuff going down very soon. Final things really to go over is hero changes. Obviously, I say final thing to go over, not like we've covered everything. This is just like the headlines. In terms of hero changes, we can really go anywhere. Adam, Crystal Maiden, and Lich. Tell us what's been going on. What's happened?
These hero changes, I think, is what sold me on the patch. It's like wanted to cry. All my heroes got buffed. It feels so good. Crystal Maiden, so she got more base mana regen, goes from 0 to 1. And I guess the reason they do that is that she doesn't get, how do I explain this? Okay, so her arcane aura got changed or reworked. So she doesn't, it used to be a rate that you gave to your teammates and then you got a special rate for yourself. That was a lot more. And I think it was something like 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5 for your teammates, and then you got up to 8.5. But now they made it still the 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and now it's just double on yourself, so it's 5, which is less than 8.5. But then you also get the bonus mana regen at base level, so it's really like 7, I guess, or 6 or 7. So it's not too much worse, but what makes it really, this thing is like giga OP, I feel like, is that Arcane Aura gives magic resistance now to everyone globally. 4, 6, 8, 10%, and it's double on yourself. So it's 20% magic resist. I looked at it in a demo, level 16 with no items or anything. You just have naturally 42% magic resist as a Crystal Maiden. So that's a pog. That's really good. You're hanky.
10% magic resist globally to your team.
Yeah, it's like Nullfield. It's like Rubik Nullfield now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But global, and then 20% magic resist on yourself. And then if you have a Glimmer Cape, you're going to be so tanky in your ult. combining the armor with the magic resist. Very cool.
Yeah. And Lich now has mana drain, Lion's mana drain on a short, but provides a disable as well. Like, that's quite a fun change, making that spell even better.
That spell, I think, I mean, the first time I play that, I'm just going to max it, and it's going to be awesome. It's not going to be good, but the thing is with that at max is 25% of your target's current mana comes back to you, so it definitely pays for itself. They buffed Chain Frost damage per bounce, and they made the Scepter now, the Sinister Gaze is a 400 AoE target. So just imagine this where you just Sinister Gaze like 5 heroes, you get back 125% of their current mana. And I guess they kind of got rid of I guess the core Lich, because you used to be like this super Scotty slow on right click, but now they made it to where Chain Frost Unlimited is a 25 spell, so it's like free Ags, old Ags, which is very cool. I cannot wait to Sinister Gaze people in lane and say Lich going to have your mana, because that's the way Lich is supposed to be. And it's not exactly the same as Sacrifice and denying XP, but this has got to be really annoying to play against. I have to imagine stealing. I mean, it's Lion mana drain, like you said, except they walk towards you, so you get to harass as well.
There's really too many changes to go over. A lot of heroes have been changed a lot. I know there's just a name check. Batrider no longer has a cast point on Napalm and doesn't need to turn. That's kind of annoying.
A lot of little buffs.
Because the turn rate on when you are trying to spam sticky Napalm, it kind of inhibits your ability oftentimes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting one.
All the numbers have got better for Bat.
Yeah, I think Bat might be strong.
To me, none of the heroes have any major rework. I think the ones we expected to get touched up a little, like your Void, your Kotl, Kunkka, all have been nerfed a little bit. There is some that have got spell reworked slightly, like Lifestealer's got his Rage now no longer provides attack speed, but Feast provides attack speed, so there's a little shake up there, a bit weird. Don't really know if it's why it's happened or if it's better or not. Like Dro's got some spell changes a little bit. There's loads of little minor ones.
Lone Druid's been changed quite a lot.
He seems to be the biggest change because he was in most need of a big change to try and get him back in action.
Yeah, I was going to say, some of the spells have changed what the hero can do quite a lot. I played a game against an Ursa, and Earthshock now like boosts your hero forward a little bit, like you jump forward a little bit. And that seems like a small change, but then also this Ursa was like running like up and down cliffs and stuff.
Ooh.
Because you can go over cliffs. Like he can jump in, for example, also you can jump into the Roche pit from any angle. You just like walk up to the edge of the Roche pit, press Q, and you like jump into the pit. And you jump, like we were chasing him in the river, and he would just jump to one side, like up. As it, like Pangolier W allows you to do that.
That's cool.
It's the same thing as that. Puck has the same thing with the W now. You jump forward for the W.
Well, the Puck one's even better because you can target where you appear, right? So
yes.
What was it? Where's Puck? 350 cast range on Waning Rift. So now you can move in 350 radius to appear in a new location. So move forward, back, side, up, down, and then you cast Waning Rift wherever you appear. That, I think, is real strong. You think about even just laning, you use that, jump forward, harass, then you can queue back out, or, again, go up and down cliffs. Projectile dodging probably can happen. I imagine you disappear from the map when you do this movement to the new location. So I think that Puck change is really cool.
Combine that with the level 10 talent where you attack out of phase shift.
That's really cool. Little mini harass with the phase shift. So I saw Tree had a really big change to one of his spells, but I can't really.
They got rid of Nature's Skies.
Yeah, Tree's changing all the time.
I haven't read all of Tree, I don't think.
It's a big change.
It's something with vines and stuff. I was very confused by it.
I saw that Leech Seed is self-cast, and also that it's no longer, you don't have the global heal anymore. it's now like got a range.
And then living
okay.
armor doesn't seem like it does damage block. It provides a bunch of armor and regen, so it always is going to heal the full amount. It can't get like damage through, which is interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
And they gave the Ag's DPS naturally to his ult, so it's always going to do damage, which is big because at level 18 it's 500 damage.
Yeah, that's decent.
Yeah, a lot of damage on that ability.
I
don't know how that vine spell is going to work.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Lone Druid's going to be. I'd be interested to hear Bulldog's thoughts because there's literally like a full screen worth of changelogs.
24 bullet points.
24 bullet points. Kind of don't have the expertise to understand. I obviously jumped straight to Mars, and I think he's got a pleasant changes. His God's Rebuke slow in for a bit. The Arena of Blood destroying trees inside the area is so useful. Because if you would use your ult and then spear someone and then they get speared to a tree and rather than the wall, that used to just be such a feels bad. So that's nice.
Also, they've added an active to bulwark or whatever, where you press it and you run in a direction slowly and like absorb right clicks in the area or something.
That's like pure this Spartan warfare right there with your shield block moving forward slowly.
Yeah. Two heroes that have been changed a lot that are both close to my heart that I'm very concerned about. OD, a lot of changes. So the Arcane Orb no longer has splash damage, no longer steals intelligence, and the damage has been rescaled so that it's worse at lower levels and better at higher levels, which is weird because I would have done the exact opposite if I was touching him up. Because at late levels it's crazy damage and at early levels it doesn't really do anything. And the Equilibrium is gone. We now have the Essence Flux, which is the passive, is back. 25% chance to restore 20, 30, 40, 50% max mana when you cast an ability. Can be activated to cause all your damage spells to slow the enemy as well.
With the Arcane Orb, you don't get int, but you do get charges which give you mana, which then gives you more damage on your ult. So that mechanic is still similar.
In there, it's just different.
Yeah.
Also, the Sanity's Eclipse no longer deals damage based on intelligence. It doesn't drain mana either. It's now does the damage based on the difference between your mana pool and the enemy's mana pool. So Arcane Orb deals damage based on how much mana you have, correct? Or how much... something to do with your mana pool, basically. The bigger your mana pool, the more damage you do.
Yeah.
It's like a percentage of your max mana, is it? Or is it a percentage of your current mana?
I think it's your mana pool.
Okay. So your Q now, rather than stealing intelligence, steals mana pool. Am I correct in thinking that?
It doesn't steal mana, it increases your max mana.
Pool. So you still, if you've been right-clicking people tons and you use sanities, you're still going to do a ton of damage.
Yeah.
How much? We don't know, because it's hard to put these numbers into practice.
Yeah.
It seems... I'm just scared that it's going to be bad, because OD is probably in line for a nerf, and this is a big change, so that maybe I wake up tomorrow and OD's the talk of the town about being super strong. Probably not. One that I do think is more clear-cut, though, is Viper, where they've... It's a lot of weird changes. Won't spend too long, but Nether Toxin cooldown has been increased from 6 to 14, so that's a huge increase, over double. No longer reduces magic resistance. They put that onto the queue. It now deals increasing amount of damage to the target the longer they stay in there, which is good for farming creeps, but it doesn't matter because the queue before was perfect for farming creeps anyway. You kill any creep camp in the duration. So the cooldown really hurts, and it's worse against heroes now because heroes are going to get out of that nether toxin, right, in fights. So it's not going to have a chance to scale up to higher damage levels. So I'll be interested to see how Viper plays now, but I certainly won't want to pick it until I've seen some evidence, because that just seems kind of like a brutal nerf to me. The W is the whole point of the hero, kind of. It's like how you do stuff. And on a 16-second cooldown, on a 14-second cooldown rather than 6. Oof, that's like a super, super nasty change. So we'll see what happens to Viper.
Two heroes that I would pick out. One is Potem nerf, as expected, and the nerf's taking the form of max arrow stun duration is now 3.5 rather than 5. So that is pretty sizable quality of life improvement to everyone who isn't Potem.
At level
That's
1,
nice.
though, it scales back up to max.
Does it scale back up?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's still in the early game. It's not as
No 5-second arrows at
rage-inducing.
level 1.
Yeah, that's still a bit grim, though, that can happen mid-late game. But, okay, yeah, that's fine to just hurt the early in the /mid game for her. And then Shadow Fiend, you don't really see his change being much of an impact, but you use his ult, and his ult, when it hits someone, depending on how many souls they get hit by, they'll get basically feared, so they'll run away.
It's TBAgs, bro.
So it's like
TBAgs is great.
Yeah.
It's a small change.
Cool.
It's nice though, because the ult is like really bad unless you do like a Yules combo. It's like
Yeah.
it doesn't do anything in fights.
You're going to get really easy raises with people running away.
It is nice because often with a Requiem, if there's a team fight going on, often a Shadow Fiend will just use it wherever he is. You don't always use Requiem when you're stood on top of a hero. He'll go into the trees and use it because then you get debuffs from the ult and obviously a bit of damage. But then when Wave starts clipping people and making them feared, and that will disrupt team fights and could interrupt spells. It could put people out of position. So there could be a lot of small benefits that you see from that rework. So it'll be interesting to see how effective it is. But
Yes.
isn't massive. It's only minor, but still quite cool.
Two heroes to talk about as well, the double R's, Ricky and Razor. Start with Ricky, because this hero now, to me, just feels like a carry now. They've just turned it from sort of like a pos 4 annoying hero. I feel like it's just a carry. They've sort of normalized his attack damage, so his attack damage is a lot higher, increased by 8 overall. The regen has been changed, his armor's been increased, his move speed's been increased. But the headline is his ult is now his invisibility. So it's back to old Ricky, right? He won't be invis until level 6, and Tricks of the Trade, which was his old ult, is now a spell. So you have Tricks of the Trade, which, by the way, seems really bad. It attacks 4, so it's now a basic ability, attacks 4 times over 2 seconds, dealing 55, 75, 85, 100% of your damage. So at level 1, you deal 4 attacks over 2 seconds, so 1 every 0.5 seconds. Not crazy.
I think that's quite good.
55% of your damage. You're going to be, that's like 2 right clicks in 2 seconds.
No,
That's...
so that means that's equivalent to a 0.5 second base attack time, right? And 0.5 second base attack time would be like top 3 heroes in the game. So using Tricks of the Trade, you are getting more right clicks off than usual. So if you can isolate someone when you use it and you're doing 120 damage, it is.
Yeah, but at level 1, you're doing
output.
half.
Yeah, but max it. I don't mind. Level 7
think
has got good output.
It's kind of good in lane. I feel like you can do that and then follow up with a Blink Strike and kill somebody.
Yeah.
Although
I think
they
you have
nerfed,
to max it. You're not going to max Smokescreen or Blink Strike, are you? So I think you probably will max that this spell.
I think you would max it. Yeah, it's good farm. I think it is
Blink
good damage.
Strike 2
nice.
charges. That's sick.
That's very
that's
nice.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
in and out.
You mean in and in?
Yeah, this guy plays Ricky. Razor, though, there was a reason why I picked this hero in my second game, and that reason was that I didn't spam click Void Spirit hard enough. But the actual reason was because you now auto-click heroes while you are linked to them. So you cast Link on the hero, and it's like, I just think of Phoenixes from StarCraft, like, you don't have to right-click on them to right-click on them. You just automatically hit them, so you just run alongside them, hitting them. It's very fun. It's really strong in the right lanes, which is basically Razor as normal. In the game I played, we were against an Axe Kotl lane. So Kotl would just blinding light me when I linked, which was really annoying because they would just run away and my first 3 hits would be missed. And by that time, they're sort of under their own tower. But it makes Razor even more of an abuse in certain lanes. Like, I'm thinking running him mid would be, you're going to get a few more clicks in.
Yeah.
It's easier to get more damage because you don't have to stutter step and potentially lose your link. It's just nice. One downside though is while his laning becomes stronger and his team fighting is definitely stronger as well, because team fight's really nice. You think about how much bonus benefit you're going to get in a team fight when you're able to just concentrate on moving your hero to stay out of trouble. And this hero relies on mobility a lot. It's quite hard pre-BKB to just stand and hit with a razor. You kind of want to be moving around, getting link on someone, but staying out of harm's way at the same time. And now you're going to be getting clicks in while you do it. It's really, really strong. But they've moved the passive to the ult, so you don't get the farming potential of Razor is massively diminished. And it really did hurt this game. I really was like, man, you can't farm on this hero like you could before. Because you only really notice it at level 12. Even at 6, the damage is so underwhelming. It's like the level 1 passive. It's like you can't even really farm with it. So they've changed the hero a lot. But it's fun to right-click someone without having to actually click on them.
Yeah, mentioned what they replaced his passive with. Storm Surge.
Yeah.
Where at max, he gets 20% extra movement speed.
Yes.
That's sick. And he's giving the team 10% movement speed.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention very much to that because there was too much weird stuff, too many random items being dropped by neutrals. But yeah, that's probably on low-key a sick spell as well.
I mean, him getting 20% movement speed, and then you combine that with the static link. That is...
Yes, very cool.
No one can run from you. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You can never leave.
You can never leave. You can never leave.
It's definitely a sick hero.
Okay, so I need to try Ricky. I need to spam Void Spirit. I need to do Puck again. I don't think anyone else is screaming out to me. Anti-Mage, just because Anti-Mage... I think that's it for my to-play list.
Here's a nice one.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
Well, I was going to say a nice quality of life one. Mystic Snake on Medusa no longer steals mana. That's a nice one. But it does give a movement slow and a turn rate slow, but I'll happily take that. The mana is the most annoying thing of all time. Lycan is scary. I'm scared of Howl because Howl now causes all enemies in a 2000 AoE to have 5, 6, 7, 8 reduced armor and deal 25, 30, 35, 40 less base attack damage. And it lasts 8 seconds. So if you're Lycan and you're committing to a tower or you're doing anything, you use Howl and for 8 seconds, the enemies have 40% less base attack damage and 8 less armor. Does that not seem kind of insane for you? You're just going to use that in a team fight.
Yeah, that's a big...
18-second cooldown. It's not even a high cooldown. The mana cost is 50. But how that seems for a spell that's 50 mana on an 18-second cooldown.
Yeah.
To me, that seems like that's insane. I know it's just
a
base
lot of
attack
damage reduction.
Yeah, it's just base attack damage, but that's still.
Just do that on a Morphling then.
Yeah. Seems really good to me, and Lycan's already really good. So now he's got 6 Necro Creeps. So
how the previous Howl, we've lost all the benefits of whatever they used to be, and I'm sure the old Howl was a very strong spell. So, and I can't remember how the old Howl worked, but I feel like the old Howl was better than this one because this one is very situational.
How was just bonus attack damage to everyone on your team?
You gave heal too, but flat.
I felt like there was quite a few things from it. So this one is, it does sound pretty strong if you pull it off, but in terms of his minute to minute gameplay, doesn't seem to help. So
also, it's a nerf to the enemies rather than a buff to Lycan, and oftentimes a hero like Lycan who's trying to accelerate, trying to take towers, he probably prefers a self buff.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it's probably worse, actually. Yeah, now that I think about it. Any other heroes to touch that we want?
Yeah, there's 2 heroes that had ults moved to Q. So...
I know one of them.
Yeah. I know one of them as well.
Clinks and Enchantress.
Clinks is a funny one.
I don't even think this spell... did you ever play with the Clinks with Death Pact?
Me?
Stan? Yeah.
Yeah, he had Death Pact forever. The Burning Army was a recent change.
Yeah,
okay.
Recent.
Well, they brought Death Pact back and made it his Q instead of Strafe. And Skeleton Walk, the E now gives bonus attack speed when coming out of invisibility. Yes. So he still kind of gets the bonus attack speed, but it's kind of like the Doom Devour. It's kind of the old Klink's death pack. So you can eat a creep, you get bonus health, and you get minus armor now on your attacks, which is kind of cool. And then if a hero dies while you're death pacted, you get +5 damage permanently, and death pack refreshes. So it's kind of like another one of these permanent infinite scaling heroes.
It's scary. People are playing Klinks in client. I went into client and like 4 people on my friends list are playing Klinks. I don't want this hero to be good. Like I said before, there's 2 heroes I don't want to be good, and that's Invoker and Klinks. And I'm scared that Klinks is good, and Invoker, I have no idea.
Yeah.
We won't even talk about him today.
Death Pack Klinks used to be kind of tanky, depending on the creep he would eat.
Yeah.
And if you get the 20 talent plus 350 Death Pack health with the 500 he would get normally, that's 850 health. That's really tanky for the Klinks. And the other thing that's kind of cool is now his burning armor deals percentage of your attack damage instead of your base damage. So you don't have to build Agi now. You can actually just go flat damage like Klinks used to. So I think Desolator Klinks will be coming back. Maybe even Desolator 2 Klinks. Yeah, you can just build, what you used to build on Klinks. So very, very cool. And then with Enchantress, her ult Impetus is now her first ability, and her Untouchable is now the ult. So seems kind of cool. Untouchable now pierces spell immunity. So like Rage or BKB, like they're still going to be minus 180 attack speed. So that's cool. And then Enchant gives a ton of health to creeps now, and a ton of damage, and it fully heals the creep. Like at max Enchant gives 120 health and 70 damage to a neutral creep. I imagine if you put that on a Centaur, it's nigh unkillable, and it's going to deal like 120 damage to a tower. Seems like a good siege spell. Lasts a long time too, to make up for the cooldown being nerfed. It's flat 20 seconds, but you get the creep that lasts for 2 minutes at max. And then the other thing is she has an Ag Scepter ability, and it gives you an ability called Sproink. And
really?
You jump backwards 400 units and you disjoint projectiles. And it's got a 3-second cooldown, and it costs 50 mana. I was messing around with that. I was messing around with it in the demo, and I was like, is that like a time lapse type thing? No, you literally just jump backwards 400 units and you disjoint things, but it's going to look so awesome because you can like Tokyo drift, turn backwards, jump down into the river and run away, or like turn backwards, jump up a high ground and then walk away.
So you have to make sure you face the right direction.
Yeah, you got to face the opposite. You got to face backwards. So
some people are going to get mega fucked over by that.
You're going to like turn around and face the enemy and Sproink, jump away, and then turn back around.
That's so funny.
So
that's such a taunt. You turn around to face the enemy and then Sproink backwards.
Speaking of taunts, I am so ready for my Ags Rush Huskar.
Yeah.
Bracer Armlet Huskar mid. This is my go. This is something I want to try. So I don't know if you saw this one, Marco, but Huskar Scepter now, when you life break someone, which by the way pierces BKB now, when you life break someone, they're taunted for 2.5 seconds.
What does that mean?
It's like taunt.
It's like an axe call.
It's axe, yeah. So they can't. They're complete disable. And so that seems insane. Can you imagine?
So you jump on someone, and then they are basically disabled for 2.5 seconds.
Think about a Huskar mid with his level advantage.
Yeah,
that's plenty. You just jump someone from out of vision, from trees or something. They're dead in 2.5 seconds for sure. There's no way they can survive that. So it's a bit weird. And also, Huskar's not a hero that you can definitely farm heroes to an axe. It's not like you need to. It's not like, oh wow, yeah, you're going to miss your timing farming for 4K. You just need 2 bracers and an armlet, and you're laughing. for enough time to farm.
Do you mean 2 braces Ags, or do you still get an armlet then Ags?
I don't know. I don't know what would be better, but that seems like something that I'd be interested in doing. I think the armlet's helpful because it helps you stay low enough health.
Yeah.
So because you don't want to be regenning.
Well, now the Burning Spear is 4% current health instead of 15 damage flat. So
it's easier to survive.
It's easier for you to get low too.
True. Yes.
So it's kind of scary.
I'm down for an axe rush on my Huskar.
Yeah, at low health, 4% is much better than 15 flat. So
and also just think late game as well. Think about how insanely good Axe is as a hero, because late game he provides a ranged initiation, BKB piercing taunt. Now Huskar does that for 2.5 seconds. Is that not really good in the late game as well?
Yeah,
someone BKBs and you can 2.5 second taunt them through BKB.
Yeah, his mid and late game is way stronger now because he has always struggled with disable, locking down a hero, because you can just blink in, but then you get disabled by the position 5 and now you're screwed. So it definitely helps big time. Another Ags, and one of the final things I would want to draw attention to is pretty weird. I don't really understand the rationale. It's Clockwork's Scepter rework. Grants overclocking, refreshes all your abilities, grants 40% bonus move speed, sweet, and 200 attack speed for 8 seconds. After the duration expires, you're stunned for 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of 200 attack speed? I guess you refresh your spells and just cog someone and just right click for 8 seconds, and then if you die, you
refresh your hook is the big thing.
Yes. Yeah, that is the big one.
It's a lot of gold.
It's a lot of gold to get this item. And it seems like a big sink of gold when you need like a desolator to make this work, or you need something to make it work. Just because a double hook shot, double cogs isn't really that amazing.
And I don't even think you can double battery assault. I think it's a buff. I don't think you can like have 2 of them go.
No, I agree. Yeah,
so and it's like double rocket flare, even with damage talent. That's pretty lackluster.
Yeah.
So I want to see a clock with 200 attack speed.
I'm getting Dezo on this guy. Dezo Ags, let's go.
40% movement speed. That's crazy.
That's cool, but it's like, what do you do with that movement speed?
Exactly.
Okay, you can guarantee a battery assault cogs combo, but then you're still useless if you're not with an ally that can then finish someone off.
I think this is the perfect item to counter a Bloodseeker. So you need a Blade Mail, and then he ruptures you, and you pop.
Let's go.
Pop overclocking, and then you run with the Blade Mail really fast and kill him.
But even then, you just hook shot without an axe and maybe one shot him with the Blade Mail.
Damn.
That's a sick play.
That would be a sick play. I've never seen that before.
We will be here forever if we talk about every single thing. Yeah, you need to. It's late for us.
Can we talk about one wombo combo thing?
There's 2 more. There's so much more I want to talk. Go on.
Well, just
you can go if you want, Mark.
Just that
Darkseer work, unlike us.
Darkseer Vacuum can attack or can do invulnerable / sleeping targets. So Naga Song into Vacuum into Giga Teamfight is a thing now. You don't have to time it. You can just vacuum people together.
Wow, that's actually cool.
That's the only, and I think his act is good.
Did you say that's Scepter?
No, that's base.
That's just base vacuum.
Yeah, base vacuum, and then Scepter lowers the cooldown to 12 seconds, and then doubles the width of wall. But the 12-second cooldown on back is really huge. Like 12-second cooldown. Back's a really good spell.
It's a big AoE. When any movement spell, like we said, is super strong. 12 seconds rather than 30 seconds is very significant. So,
but this is a wombo, like Naga Sleep into Vacuum into either Disruptor or like Black Hole.
And it keeps them asleep, right? Because the Naga is constantly applying.
They'll still be asleep, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Darkseer should come back a little bit then.
Yep, and also that I can tell you what the next part of that combo is. It's Visage Bird Stun, because it's now Visage is so much easier to play now. I don't know if you saw this change, but you target AoE on the ground. On the Visage, the actual hero has the spell where they added in the drop familiar, where you just press it on Visage. So now you press Stoneform Helper, and it targets the area that it will go to, and the nearest familiar goes there and automatically drops. It's
so easy.
It's so easy, yeah. It's so easy. So it's kind of a joke how easy this one is. The only other real change that I've seen in action that I thought was really cool was Drow Ranger with the weird multi-shot spell. Level 4, it's actually really sick. The range is really high, and the damage is really good. Drow completely destroyed my Snapfire mid-game. Drow just went off. Which could happen in any game, of course, but this new ability is a kind of weird cone thing. It's one of those you sort of have to see it to understand what's going on, even though
they got rid of Precision Aura, which made me very nervous as I was reading through. And then it got to Marksmanship, and I was like, okay, you still give agility or attack speed. No, I guess you give bonus agility now, which is still kind of attack speed. Around you. It's not global. But yeah, I was like, oh no, what have you done to my girl? And then it's like, oh, this seems like a good ability. Multi-shot.
Well, they've kind of killed the mag strat, which is a big pro scene strat, and kind of killed the drow strat as well, kind of, because they've changed it to marksmanship. So those are two huge pro scene drafts right there, mag draft, drow draft. They're both kind of not a thing anymore, especially mag, because Empower's just only good on mag now. So
Marksmanship doesn't kill creeps instantly too, so it's like I don't think you go, AFK farm drow anymore. You like battle drow, kind of.
Yeah, I think so.
With multi-shot.
Yeah. That's got sort of everything. A funny little thing that I'd say to end is, you were saying how when you were reading the drow change, you were like, took a deep breath, you were like, what is going on? They've removed this. That's what I had with Invoker. Because they said invoke cooldown reduced by 0.3 for each orb level, and I didn't really understand that, so I just ignored it. And then I went down, and it was invoke no longer benefits from Scepter, and I was like, Scepter now adds Cataclysm to Sunstrike. I was like, oh, they've actually killed Invoker. I just forgot the first line of that because I didn't understand it, and was like, they've just removed Invoker's Scepter, which is core to the hero. This hero no longer exists, and I was literally celebrating. I even put it on our WhatsApp group. I was like, oh, they've killed Invoker. And then I read the first line again and was like, oh, no, they haven't. Invoke's still really low cooldown when you get high levels. So that was a funny one.
No, one more funny one right above Drow is that if you get the Ag Scepter on Dragon Knight, he gets flying pathing.
Oh, yeah.
So he's actually a black dragon that can fly over everything.
Makes sense, I suppose.
Yep. Very cool.
We'll be back on Thursday with a bit better of an idea of which of these million changes are actually the insane ones and which ones are not so insane. Not sure what we'll be doing in that episode. I'm sure it will be some sort of patch review in more detail with more evidence to go on. So that will be definitely worth tuning in for. And until then, let's play some games. Let's get into these neutral camps.
Yeah.